Right. Yeah, we are going to be doing 8:30s for next month because this seems like a great time. So thank you guys. When you show up, it's kind of like telling me what time works best. All right, so we're gonna go through all three of these categories: traveling, eating out, and drinking. And also, if any of these resonate, feel free to take a picture, post on your Instagram story. I'm giving out one more round of $20 to anybody who posts and tags frequency. It can be a screenshot of this, it can be a little gym selfie, a picture of your meal, whatever it is, just to kind of encourage posting, tagging frequency so that, we spread the word, we help other people, we make a positive impact in this world. And yeah, you guys are my marketing team. So thank you for all your hard work. All right, so let's get into traveling. The first thing that you'll probably hear me say time and time again is control the controllables, okay? If you're traveling and there's just no way that you're going to be able to go to a gym, or you're traveling and you're camping, so of course you're not going to get your workouts in, or every single meal is, catered by your work. Like, what's the point of beating yourself up? Control the controllables. Don't beat yourself up for the things you can't control. As far as like some movement or gym ideas, try to find a gym nearby. A lot of gyms have like a free day pass, a free week pass, a free 3-day pass. I also always would recommend having some kind of gym membership like Crunch, or LA Fitness, or somewhere that's kind of like well known, or yeah, like well around like the nation. It's very convenient if you travel often to be able to go to gyms nearby. Or sign up for a yoga class nearby, maybe use the hotel gym. Pretty much every hotel has a gym. Even if you only have access to dumbbells, you can substitute all movements. I promise you that. Or you can ask your coach to help you figure out how to do that because that's a really good skill. If you only have a barbell back squat programmed or a Smith machine lunge and you have no idea how to substitute that, it's a good skill to learn so that you don't feel, completely lost if you don't have access to that. Go for long walks in the mornings or whenever. Take a walk here and there if you're near like a grocery store or a park. Whatever. Follow a Pilates YouTube video if you again don't have any access to leave or go to a gym or whatever. Or just ask your coach for body weight workouts. If you can just do a quick 5-10 minute workout, 30-minute body weight workout in your hotel room or whatever, you know, do your best, right? You don't need to necessarily always follow the exact workout program if it's absolutely impossible, but try not to use that as an excuse to just let, your goals fly out the window. Now, as far as food, I cannot stress this enough. Go grocery shopping as soon as you arrive, wherever you're at. If you're staying with your mom for the week, go grocery shopping as soon as you get there, the night of, whatever it is. If you don't have a car in the situation, you can use Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats. You can Uber yourself there, whatever it is. Get groceries delivered to you or go get them as soon as possible. Stock up on fruits, veggies, hard-boiled eggs, deli meat, microwavable meals, yogurt, cottage cheese, beef jerky, dates, figs, oatmeal, overnight oatmeal, smoked salmon, tuna packets. Like, there's so many things that you can either keep just in a fridge if all you have access to is like a mini fridge, or all you have access to is like a microwave. You have options. So again, try to not use these things as an excuse, but try to get creative and control the controllables. See what you can implement. Definitely stretch before and after a plane ride or a car ride. I'm the queen of airport yoga. I promise it'll inspire everyone all around you. So if stretch, move your body. If you're in a car, ideally try to get out every few hours, even just maybe do some neck rolls or do some cat cows as you're on the plane. Take advantage of your mornings. I mean, or whenever you're free, So if you're traveling and whatever the situation is, all you have scheduled is stuff in the morning, then maybe take advantage of your afternoons, your evenings. But I always think most people have, a little bit of time in the mornings, even if that's waking up literally 5 minutes early. A 5-minute walk around the hotel is better than a 0-minute walk. I tell myself that all the time, even just when I'm here, home, working, like, oh, I don't want to go on a long hot girl walk. I don't have time or the energy, to go for my normal like 60-minute route. But a 5-minute walk literally is better than a 0-minute walk. I guarantee you'll instantly feel better. A 2-minute stretch is better than no stretch. Okay. Again, you don't need to be setting the expectations or having the barrier so high that, okay, well, if I don't accomplish this, then it's not worth it or whatever. Just some little movement is going to be really good for lowering inflammation, especially while you're traveling. If you went on a plane, just know you're going to have inflammation. You're going to be a little bit bloated. That is okay. That's what happens when you go into a higher altitude. So even if you're going somewhere from like Florida to Utah and you're at a higher altitude, you're gonna hold on to excess water weight. That is your body doing its thing, trying to keep you alive. Don't beat yourself up, but do what you can to mitigate it. So try not to have a lot of stressors, try not to have a lot of inflammatory things like a lot of alcohol or seed oils. Try to stay moving, all that. Have a game plan with how many meals you plan on eating out versus how many, meals that you plan on eating from those groceries that you have set, ideally, that you got as soon as you were there. So maybe, if you're going to New York City with the girls for 5 days, maybe 2 meals every day, that you'll eat out. But maybe for breakfast, you have some kind of routine there. Or if it's more of like business oriented, maybe 1 meal out, on lunch you'll go out and have lunch with the team, but you'll come home and heat up your dinner or whatever that is. Have some kind of game plan or at least just some intention. Same thing with your alcohol. Have a dedicated day. Okay, on Saturday I'll drink. Or just, maybe 2 drinks each night, have some sort of boundary, some sort of game plan. I promise that's really where people get stressed out is where they don't have any kind of game plan. If you don't have anything planned, you're just setting yourself up for failure. I promise. Just it literally takes a second to set an intention. So I would, do that. And drink way more water than you think. That's the first thing that goes out the window. And anytime somebody travels or even just like it's a holiday or whatever, the first thing that goes out the window is your water intake. So drink more water than you think. Also, along the same lines of what I was saying earlier, you'll hold on to excess water weight if you are traveling, if you have been in higher altitudes. And the more water you drink, the less water you hold on to. So I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if you feel puffy, like you're holding on to water, drink more water. It'll start flushing that out. Okay. All right. Eating out. Here are a couple rules of thumb for eating out. Do not skip meals before eating out. I used to be so guilty of this. I'm sure somebody here probably has too. Maybe you still are kind of dealing with that. Let's say you have a birthday dinner on Saturday. You guys are going to Italian. You want to have some fettuccine Alfredo. So what are you going to do? You're going to starve yourself all day. You're going to push breakfast back. I'm going to save and hoard all of my calories. No, no, no. What you'll end up doing is overeating or even binging, out of control, feeling that like kind of scarcity. Your brain and body knows when you've been restricting food. So then when something in abundance or something that's like highly calorically dense is right in front of you, you are going to feel famished. You're going to eat it all. That's why, the kind of binge and restrict cycle happens. Have a full nourishing meal before you go out. Have a normal breakfast, a normal lunch. Prioritize lots of protein, prioritize lots of fruits and veggies so that your brain is not feeling malnourished and making decisions out of scarcity. You'll make better rational decisions. You'll eat till you're full. Maybe you'll have leftovers to take home then. You won't feel so bloated or shameful or embarrassed of how you just, ate all of the chips on the table at the Mexican restaurant or whatever. A couple of, rules. Try to limit fried foods. You don't need to completely avoid it, but, maybe don't get a chimichanga. Maybe prioritize a burrito instead. And again, instead of chips on the side, maybe beans and rice or something. Look at the menu beforehand for sure. If ever, even just on a normal week, if you're going out, look at the menu beforehand so you don't make a decision of what to eat while you're there, while you're hungry, or you're influenced by what everybody else is ordering, or you smell it and you smell the grease in the air, whatever it is. Try to have again, just 2 minutes of intentionality goes such a long way. And then when you are choosing a menu item, choose one with the protein source in the name. That's usually kind of a good rule of thumb. Choose a lean protein source over fatty protein sources. So choosing something like chicken or turkey or tuna or a whitefish over something like beef or salmon, which are kind of like those fattier protein sources, which those are great and fine when you're home. But when you're eating out, we already know that they're making everything in oils or they're dousing the meat in oil already. Same with the veggies. So you might as well kind of like pick and choose your fats and aim for a leaner protein source. And also choose something that has fruits or veggies on the side for the source of fiber. So veggies give us fiber as well as just micronutrients so that we'll be able to digest the food better. We won't feel super bloated, super stuffed, all that. And then as far as tracking it, track something similar in your food log, okay? Just because that restaurant, that exact meal is not in MyFitnessPal or is not in your, meal tracker in the Frequency app. Again, try not to use that as an excuse of like, oh, well, I had no idea, so I didn't even try. Highly would recommend just finding something similar. If you went and you ate a Cuban, just log a Cuban. Or if you went and you had fettuccine Alfredo, just log fettuccine Alfredo. Ideally, as you get more and more familiar with tracking food, you'll be able to eyeball things and estimate more accurately, as well as you'll be able to feel the difference of like, okay, that was probably a 500 calorie meal versus, okay, maybe that was an 800 calorie meal. But when it comes to logging and estimating, overestimate carbs and fats, underestimate protein. Most restaurants, again, are dousing your foods in oils, so that's going to crank up the fats. And they're probably trying to skimp you out on protein because it's expensive. So ideally, just underestimate protein. Uh, Order water, avoid drinking your calories. And again, when I say avoid or limit, that doesn't mean never. You're not a bad person if you get a Coke, an iced tea, whatever it is. But for the most part, you'll probably feel best if you're ordering water. Definitely eat slowly, chew thoroughly, take belly breaths in between each bite. And again, this is going to be helpful. And this is only going to happen if you didn't skip meals beforehand. If you came in starving, you're going to be swallowing every single bite, eating so, ravenously, not going to be taking breaks. And that's when you're going to get to the point of feeling uncomfortable, feeling like you just binged, and then the whole cycle is going to repeat itself. So if you have a full meal beforehand, you'll be able to tune into your fullness cues, your hunger cues. Try to eat until you're about like 80% full, and then take a couple deep breaths. Maybe just sit there, talk with the people at the table. Just try to stay present with your body, right? Understanding, am I hungry right now? Am I just eating sort of out of like a habitual, sort of like robotic thing? Am I so wrapped up in this conversation that I don't even realize, that I just ate 50 chips? So just be present with your body and the whole experience. Alcohol. All right. So first and foremost, I think I see this a lot, and I know I definitely have been a victim to this. Make sure you're consciously choosing to drink. And if that's what you do, if you are choosing to have alcohol for the occasion or the whatever, if that's what you choose to do, then great. But take a second to be like, am I doing this out of habit? Because, oh, I always get a drink, when I go to this place, or I always get a bottle of wine when I go and have lunch with Marissa, or, oh, whenever I have cheese, I have whatever it is, right? So make sure that what you are doing is always a conscious decision. That kind of applies to everything in life, all right? Make sure you're not doing out of just habit and acting out maybe your old patterns, but also just not trying to just drink out of social expectations of, oh, well, everyone else has a drink in their hand, or everyone else is drinking, I feel inclined. You're in charge of your own body, okay? You're in charge of your choices. And if you're trying to make a change, then you got to take a little bit more responsibility to who you are, separate from how other people treat their bodies. And there's plenty of options if you want something in your hand or just something to sip on. So there's a lot of non-alcoholic seltzers out there now. Peyton just told me that White Claw has non-alcoholic seltzers, which is cool. There's a shit ton out there. Of course, you can also just get soda water with lime. You can have a Diet Coke. You can have, they have like canned kava drinks, which is kind of fun. Don't drink those. Don't mix those with alcohol though. They have like adaptogenic tea or like little mushroom seltzers or whatever, as well as just like water with lemon. People won't know, what's in your drink. You just tell them it's a vodka water if you want to, if they ask. But first of all, most people won't ask. Second of all, most people probably also want to be drinking less. I guarantee if you're out 90%, maybe not 90, probably 50% of the people also just drinking out of, habit, probably would, benefit from, sorry, would probably benefit from seeing somebody be like, oh, I actually didn't, don't want to drink right now, or I'm not drinking tonight, or whatever. I'm part of a coaching program. I'm watching my figure, however you want to word it. Most people are thinking the exact same thing. So lead by example. You're never alone in those decisions. So if you are choosing and consciously choosing to drink, limit yourself to like 1 or 2. These are just loose numbers. Okay. If you want more specific things, ask me in your check-ins and whatnot. But a good rule of thumb is that 1 to 2 like fun drinks, like espresso martinis, margaritas, maybe a Cosmo or whatever, like something off of like the menu of like a specialty drink. After that, if you do choose to keep drinking, I'd prioritize a clear liquor, tequila, vodka, rum, gin, whatever, with soda water or regular water, lots of lemons, lots of limes. So I like to add like a splash of juice if you want a little bit of flavor, or like a Mio or something like that. And then definitely have 1 full glass of water between each alcoholic drink. Again, just have something in your hand so that you're not just, unconsciously drinking, unless that's what you want to do, which that's fine. If that's your intention is to get fucked up, then go ahead. 1 glass of water between each alcoholic drink will probably just save you a little bit of a hangover. It'll keep you hydrated because alcohol is, making you dehydrated. And then if you struggle with any gut issues, or if you just kind of like have an issue with bloating, I would try to limit carbonated drinks. So I know like, a lot of people go for like White Claws or High Noons or whatever. To me, those mess up my stomach way more than just like a vodka water with, a splash of juice. All right, this, I don't really touch on this often because I, I don't know. It is a little bit complex, but there is a certain way to track alcohol. So, for example, a Truly is 100 calories. Yet when you look at the macros, there's only 2 grams of carbs. And as we know, each gram of carb each gram of carb is 4 calories. A gram of protein is 4 calories. A gram of fat is 9 calories, right? So when we look at the 3 macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, we add those up, whether we multiply them, by 4 if it's a carb or a protein, or we multiply by 9 if it's a fat, and that will end up equaling the total calories, right? So when we see a Truly and it has 100 calories, but all it has is 2 grams of carbs, where do the rest of the calories come from? Alcohol is technically like a 4th macronutrient that we don't talk about much. A lot of people don't talk about much, but we have the 3 macronutrients, but technically alcohol is kind of like its 4th one because it is different and metabolizes in the body completely different. So when you log it, especially if you're somebody who, my dog is just going crazy over here. So if you see me wrestling, that's what's going on. So when you log alcohol, if you're just tracking calories, or if you're just, in the beginning of your fitness journey with frequency, please do not let this confuse you. Just log a White Claw exactly how it is, search it, whatever, you're fine. But if you're really getting specific with tracking macros specifically, which if you know you are tracking protein, carbs, and fats, then that's what we're tracking. Okay, we're not paying attention to calories because some foods, it's kind of wonky like this. So if you are going to track it as carbs, you have an option, right? You can either track them as carbs, as fats, or as both. And that I would say is just up to preference of maybe where your macros are for the day. So if you're going to track it as carbs, like I said, there's 4 calories per 1 gram of carb. So you would take that 100 calories, which is what the entire Truly, right? So the 100 calories, and you want to track those calories as carbs. So take that, divide it by 4. That makes the Truly 25 grams of carbs. Or if you want to track it as fats, you can take the 100 calories, a whole can of Trulies, the whole Truly divided by 9, which is how many calories 1 gram of fat has, which gives you 11 grams of fat. Or if you want to kind of do a mixture of both, again, this is maybe just if depending on where your macros are falling for the day, then you would, use 50. So dividing 50 by 4, that gives you 12 grams of carbs, and then 50 by 9, that gives you 6 grams of fats. Again, this is a little complicated, so if I just lost you there, please do not worry about it. Okay, I would say this is for more like advanced girlies who are really being very strict with their 3 macros specifically, but outside of that, I think I touched on everything. All right, wow, we got so many peeps. Can everybody turn their camera on for a second so we can take a little team pic? Maybe just a little peace sign. This is so cute. We got so many people here today. Come on, don't be shy. Okay, so fun. We'll take it in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, you guys are so pretty. Look at everybody's cameras who could have been on this whole time. Anyway, any comments, questions, concerns? Yeah, I see you all laughing. Okay, you want me to be sassy? I will. Don't you worry. Anything that hits, anything that you want to point out, or anything at all?
I'll comment on something.
Ooh.
I listened to Mel Robbins' podcast a lot, and she had someone on who was talking about like being sober curious or just sobriety in general. And a statement that she made that kind of resonated with me when thinking about if you want to drink in social situations is that if you feel like you have to change your state to be comfortable in an environment, maybe you shouldn't be in the environment in the first place. So that kind of had me thinking about like when I go out, do I really need to drink? And I've gone out to bars kind of sober recently and had just as much fun, if not more, than when I was drinking, which was something I had never considered prior. So that's just kind of some food for thought. Not that drinking is bad, I do it all the time. I just kind of went through that experience recently.
I love that. I love some Mel Robbins wisdom. She's the best. Thank you for sharing that, Miranda. Yeah, very true. Like, I just think it's always good just like assess, okay, what are my intentions for the night? How do I want to feel tomorrow? Do I feel like do I have a good relationship with alcohol right now where, I can have a couple drinks and call it a night? Do I feel a little bit out of control, or is there any like guilt or shame associated with alcohol? Just some questions to ask yourself. Again, we want all of our decisions in life to be conscious. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. We're running a little bit over time. If you have anything that hits, I would love to keep this conversation open in the Discord. But have a great night. Thank you so much for showing up.
Bye.
Bye.